Hi everyone, it's Chris here from Retro Consoles UK, and today we have a board game special. So most of the board games you're about to see were all picked up in one big lot. It was about 25 games that all come together. Most are 80s and 90s. So let's fire in and see what we managed to pick up. So first up is a game called Boulder Dash, made by MP Games. I think it's mid 90s, probably 91, 92. So Boulder Dash, it's a board game. Everything's there, all complete, so good start. Next up is there was two of these games, so it looks late 80s, early 90s. I've not opened them up yet. Game I had when I was a kid, loved playing this game. Hungry Hippos, so that's one of them. Unfortunately the boxes are a bit beat up, so I might try and save one, because this one's really beat up. See how I get on, see what's in there. I haven't opened these two up yet, but I've opened most other things up. So that's Hungry Hippos. Another one a little bit more modern, but the game itself is vintage. So this is Cluedo. This always sells really well. Pick this up. This wasn't part of the big bundle I managed to pick up, but another one. I've been saying quite a lot of these. This is a more modern one, maybe 10 or 12 years old. So that's Cluedo there. Jump up, there's another Outburst. This one's called Outburst. This is first edition, made by Parker. This one I think is 1986. Good thing about board games, a lot of them have got the dates on, which is pretty cool. So that's Outburst, complete in this box there, so really good stuff. Next up is a really old one. I think this is maybe 70s, and they've been bringing it out for quite a long time. So this is made by Spears Games. A lot of the older games are made by Spears. I've had a few now. This is Cockpit, so this is complete in box as well. Everything's in there, needs to be in there, which is really cool. So one game that I noticed when I was picking the lot up, unfortunately this is one of the only games that isn't fully complete, which is unfortunate really, because it's the most expensive one. So this is Ghost Castle, made by MB Games. Unfortunately one of the stands for the characters is missing, but pretty much everything else is in there. Fortunately it has tape around the edge, probably to hold it together. Most of the stuff is in there apart from a couple of little things that are missing. So that's really unfortunate, but still a really good game. Still fetches really good money. So that's Ghost Castle. Next up is an atmospheric game. So these came out in the 90s, and they involved having a cassette tape. Later on I think they brought out a DVD version. So you put the tape in, you play along the game, and you go to a certain point in the videotape, and it will tell you what to do next in the game. So they're really cool. This is the second version they brought out. So really horror fantasy kind of thing. Massive board. I've had the board set up, all the pieces are in there, really good condition, great game. So this is Atmosphere. Next up is a game that was sealed, Tin Can Alley. Not much to really say about that. It's got tin cans in it, and you throw it like you do at the fair. This is another typical mid-90s game. I didn't realise this is quite actually rare. Looking at sold listings on eBay and listings in general on eBay, there's not many about. So this is very 90s guy on the screen on the old style TV. Again, another game that involves a VHS tape. So this is like the girls' version, really aimed for teenage girls. Again, complete, should fetch pretty good money, about 20-25 quid. This is Party Mania, made by Parker. Game I couldn't really find much about. So this is one called Buzzy Buzz. It looks 70s, I would say. You normally tell what era the games are from by the pictures and what people are wearing, the clothes they're wearing. So this looks maybe 70s. It's made by Action GT, which is, I think, was an older games brand company. So really cool. Buzzy Buzz there, complete with all the pieces. So another quite pricey game. So this is The Key to the Kingdom, made by Warringtons. I think it was their attempt to try and compete with like maybe Warhammer fantasy kind of game. Again, massive board. It's over 1 meter long. Comes in 3 sections. Luckily, it does come with all the pieces. It has, as a lot of board games do, a little bit of damage to the side of the box, but really cool graphics on there. Bit dusty, but really cool, complete, and a great game. So next up is an iconic game that they've remade for probably 30-40 years. This is Mousetrap. This is a more modern version. Unfortunately, this was picked up recently at a charity shop, and it doesn't have all the parts. So this will be going to spares and repairs. So Mousetrap, pretty standard game, but still a great game. Next up, we have Trapdoor, again mid-80s, made by MB Games. I really love all the MB Games stuff. I've got a couple in my own personal collection. Really cool game. Complete there, easy to use, easy to play, easy to pick up. Nice clean condition, mid-80s, 81 this one is. So another great game there from the 80s. Next up is a game I never really heard of before, Cats, Dogs and Hogs. It's a card game, quirky 3-letter card game. They're not made by anybody special, so not MP or Park or anything like that. So game there. Next up, I was surprised to see this, Russell Grant's Zodiac game. Quite a weird game. There's a few about for sale, made by Freeman and Hawkins Games. It was all complete inside. Again, box is a bit worse for wear. It looks like it's had plenty of play out of it. So that's another one on the list. Next up is, this is the Cluedo box that I remember from being a kid. Or I mean, they've changed it through loads of different times now. But this is the Cluedo I remember. All complete inside, good. Has all the weapons. The rope's a little worse for wear. I think this is late 80s, 89. So this is from 1989. This is what I remember from being a kid. There's another Cluedo there, original Cluedo. Couple more to get through. So we got Dingbats. I think this is 87. Made by Warringtons. So a good strong brand there of board games. A card game, turn-based game. You move around, 2 to 4 players. There's a badge that says I'm the Dingbat. So it looks good, fun game, and definitely a nice vintage game from the 80s there. So did you have any of these games? Do you recognise any of these games from when you were younger? Do you have any of these games in your collection now? And a couple I've had, definitely Hungry Hippos I've had, and a couple of others, Cluedo. So we'll jump up to a few more games. So next is a really old one. So I've had a few of these old ones from Spears Games recently. Nice and simple. Box is in pretty decent condition. I think this is 60s, maybe mid 60s. Bounce. So all it is a board there, and you have to bounce the ball and get them in the little cups. Nice and simple, easy game. Like I say, Spears Games seem to have made a lot of the 60s, 70s board games, which is pretty cool. So that's that one. 3 domino. So this is basically dominoes, but 3-sided, so triangle pieces. Quite interesting concept. I've never heard of the brand before, but nice and clean, nice and tidy inside. Comes with all its pieces. Good to see. Next up is Spite. I'd never seen this game before. Looks quite interesting. Another game, nice and looks possibly 90s, 95. Again, and a brand I've never heard of. A game I've never seen. All complete inside. Let me know if a game you've played, if you've ever seen this game before, because I definitely haven't. A game, very popular game they've been making for a long time as well, made by Parker, is Boggle. Great game, great word puzzle game. I think this is probably mid 90s. All complete inside. 80s, 85. So that's a really cool game. Good condition. Great game for any vintage game collector or people just wanting to play games they had when they were younger. So that's Boggle. Next up, we've got a couple left. No, we've got one left. So this is a really cool box. This is the original Atmosphere. Again, a video game by Spears Games. Be interesting to see how long they were making board games for. Because I've got stuff from Spears from the 50s, 60s. And this is 90s. I think this is mid 90s. A really cool game. A game I used to see advertised on TV all the time, especially around Christmas. I never played it before, so it's a VHS game as well. Complete, a lot of pieces in there, but it's complete, super cool. I think Atmosphere, they brought out 3 or 4, I think maybe 4 different types of games. But this is a really cool one. Great display piece, very 90s, mid 90s. So that's all the board games that I've got today. So what did you think? Do you have any of the games when you were younger? Do you still play any of the games now? Is there any games you think, I can't wait, I definitely want to be picking that up and give it a game? What do you think of doing board games as well? I really enjoy checking all the parts. It's really annoying when you're missing a few pieces, but definitely I've really enjoyed checking through all these, listing them up. So if you like this kind of content, don't forget to check all my other videos out. Hit the thumbs up on here, give me a like, and thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.